Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us here today from Pitch Hero HQ for this payments and match fees webinar. Slightly different sort of format today. Obviously, most of the time we usually run through setup of payments and match fees, a couple of questions, etc. But we have recently released the new Stripe Connect Express, which is obviously a payment provider that allows you guys to get lower fees. So we're going to have sort of a bit of a couple of slides on that before we get into the actual sort of webinar, and then host a little bit of a Q&A on it. So any questions you've got about the payment provider, feel free to obviously just pop them in the Q&A section. So that'll be sort of where we're going to start things off, and then obviously we'll go into sort of the natural progression as we usually do, and run through sort of everything in terms of the setup, how you guys can look to operate a few things with your membership, whether it be installment subscriptions, or obviously if you're looking to sell sponsorship tickets, etc. So moving through, obviously your season prep's going to be well underway by now. With it being cricket, obviously you guys are less than 6 weeks until the start of the season. I believe, is it the 22nd? I think most of the first round of games are. So obviously, 22nd of April, you guys will be getting things moving, and obviously the possible weeks before if you've got any friendlies. So you've still got a bit of time to get things set up, and obviously work through your membership and any other bits and pieces you may be looking to sell. So obviously, as always, with Pitch Hero, you've got 15 years of us serving grassroots sports clubs. We've got a large sort of contingent of clubs using us, with all staff based out of Leeds here at our sort of headquarters. So obviously for you guys, a big thing is obviously increasing your club membership and the general revenue. So as I say, that's going to be something we're going to come through to at the sort of back end of the webinar, and the general sort of improving of team performance, and obviously reducing club admin is a massive thing for you guys. Anytime, as most of you will be volunteers, anytime reduced is a benefit for the club in general. So if you need to obviously discuss anything with us, you've obviously got the option to reach out to myself directly. Again, as always, that's w.dunkerley, that's dunkerley at pitchhero.com. You can book in calls, as you can see via the link up there. And then there's also the support team who are on hand to help with absolutely anything they can do. That is support@pitchhero.com. So we're all available, all on hand to help as and where we can. So as I mentioned, like we said earlier, we're going to start off with the Stripe Connect Express, just run through a few bits and pieces on that, make you aware of obviously what it is that we're sort of offering with that, and the benefits to you guys, etc. So we'll run through that, this slide and the next one, and then we'll just have a bit of a pause. Any questions you guys want to ask, obviously fire them away, put them in the Q&A section, and we'll run through those as we're slipping through. So I'll just take a brief moment, and then we'll get moving into this. So Stripe Connect Express is one of the sort of big things that we've recently launched. The whole intention of it is to offer you guys lower transaction fees, and that's exactly what we've done. So it's the lowest credit and debit card payment fees, and it supports obviously Apple Pay, Google Pay, as sort of the Stripe accounts that you guys will be used to would do. As you can see there, the Connect Express fees begin from as little as 1.67% plus 15p. So some of you guys will be paying up to 3.4% plus 20p per transaction with the current Stripe accounts. And as you can see, that's a big drop off. So like I say, the intention was to get clubs lower transaction fees, and that's exactly what we've been able to do with it. So you guys are definitely in for obviously saving money if you are to go ahead with Stripe Connect Express. Now, we do have a price promise with this as well. So on the transaction fees, if you're wanting to know anything more about that price promise, please do feel free to get in touch with myself or the support team, and we can supply you with some more information on that. I won't cover that too in depth today, other than obviously just to mention it, as there is a fair few aspects to it. But as I say, feel free to get in touch with us, and we will obviously help and inform you on that as and where we can. The other thing to mention is some of you that will be using Stripe will be aware that Stripe have recently introduced a fee for recurring revenue, which is 0.5%. So obviously, as and when that's sort of coming through for you guys, whether that be installments or subscriptions that you've set up, it's quite a hit. You could be hit with sort of £10 a week, £20 a week. It could actually tot up to be a fair amount that you're losing in addition. So obviously with the lower transaction fees that are going to be offered with Stripe Connect Express, and also There's no processing fees on that recurring revenue. With Stripe Connect Express, you're looking to save quite a bit on it. So there is a graphic down at the bottom there, which obviously for a £20 payment, you can see what you guys would be currently paying on Stripe versus the new lower fee. So example, £20 payment on the Pro package currently, it'd be 68p. On the standard, it'd be 78. And then the new lower fee would be 58p and 70p. So like I say, it's obviously it's a saving, and every saving adds up. Obviously, as you sort of grow those amounts, the saving becomes bigger and bigger. So for those of you that may be taking registration and membership fees at the start of the season that are £200+, you're looking at some serious savings, obviously, if you are to move to Stripe Connect Express. Like I mentioned before, the transaction fees. So you guys are going to benefit from them massively. Obviously, there's a bit more information on them there. The transaction fees do depend on what package you're on, as they have done with the other transaction fees for Stripe and Go Cardless. So as you can see here, you've got the standard, which starts as low as 2.7% plus 15p, and the Pro, which again starts as low as 1.67% plus 15p. So that's obviously sort of the main aspects of it is the saving for you guys. That's one of the big things. It is worth me just mentioning, as I said, obviously there's no charge on the recurring fees, which obviously Stripe have now introduced a charge of 0.5% for. But there are sort of some differences between the two accounts. One of them is there's an £100 limit on the account. So if that's for payouts, in essence, it just protects you guys against like chargebacks, refunds, etc., that you have to issue. So that would basically mean that once you hit an £100 limit, then you will get a payout for anything over that. So there always has to be £100 in that account. But obviously, like I say, that's to prevent you guys from having any charges on the accounts, etc. And also, you will be sort of familiar with potentially daily, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever it may be. The payouts that you get from Stripe will be, I think their cadence is currently daily, but you can control that. With Stripe Connect Express, it's a weekly payout. So the payouts are processed on a Monday, and generally speaking, they'll be in the sort of club's account by, say, roughly a Wednesday-ish time. So that's the key differences, and obviously the benefits to it. So as I say, I'll have a brief pause, and if there's any questions on it, feel free to pop them in. I'll give it a couple of minutes for that, and then once they've come through, we'll move on to sort of the actual webinar in terms of going through the payments and setup for the new season. So we've got a couple of questions in here. First one, can Stripe Connect Express replace Go Cardless? And is lower fees as well. So yeah, it will obviously, it's setting up a new account. So you set up a new Stripe Connect Express account, and then you can obviously choose to link that to any products that you want to. So it can definitely replace Go Cardless. And yes, it is lower fees as well as Go Cardless. So I believe the Go Cardless fees on standard are 2.9% plus 20p per transaction. So obviously, you'd be looking to save on the Stripe Connect Express with that. And the Stripe fees on standard are 3.4%. So yeah, sorry, no, wrong one. The Go Cardless fees on Pro are to 1.9% plus 20p per transaction. So again, you're looking to make a saving on that as well. So definitely can replace Go Cardless. The next two are relating to the recurring fees. So basically, if you've got recurring revenue coming in, guys, so whether that be an installment product or a subscription, so say it's £200 product, the installments are £20 over 10 months, there will be an additional charge for recurring revenue. It's just something Stripe increased. If you've got a Stripe account set up, you will have comms from them directly explaining this. So I would have a look through your emails and dig that one out so you can sort of get further information on it. But in essence, that fee is on current Stripe accounts that you will be using. If you use Stripe Connect Express, there will be no recurring revenue fee. So obviously it's an advantage for you guys to look into Stripe Connect Express for. So we've been asked, can an existing product be changed to Stripe Connect Express? No, it would. You need to clone the product so it can then obviously be on the new payment provider. So that would be essentially setting up and cloning the product, and then you can choose to change over the payment provider for that. Someone's asked, why such a big markup when we're already paying? Can't say I follow that question exactly. The fees aren't what's mentioned, etc. So if you could just clarify, that would be helpful. Thanks. Right, doesn't appear that we've got any further questions so far on that side of things. So we'll get moving into the actual webinar in terms of setting up your fees, etc., for this season. So obviously moving payments online, we're going to cover why online payments is obviously the way to go forward, how we can help. Obviously lower transaction fees, we've covered that with the Stripe Connect Express. Then it will go through a case of getting started and obviously the live demo of the payment system. And then as always, there'll be a Q&A along the way. So we'll stop and start, answer some questions as we go in, hopefully cover all the things you guys want to see. And that will be us sorted. So obviously, why would you want to move to online payments? The big one is it helps increase club revenue. Obviously, reduces the admin as well. So payments can be made 24/7 rather than it being a one-off payment evening where you get membership signed up. You can send out a prompt for people to pay. They can make that payment 24/7, and you can then track who hasn't paid nice and easily. So obviously, it's dead simple to obviously initially send that out, and then once that's gone, you have the ability to track it. So the tracking is one of the key things in terms of actually increasing the club revenue, because someone can't just slip through the cracks, by example, saying, oh, I'll pay you next week, or I'll do this, I'll do that. And then with the best will in the world, people can forget, things can happen, and then it can slip through the cracks. And then you can't, obviously, hard to chase up that payment. So obviously, additionally to that, you can record membership data as well. So you can, with the payment of fees, you can then also collect payment forms. So you can have members update their information as they're paying for this season's membership fee. So obviously that will then update all the data you've got for them, keeping that nice and up to date and clean. And then obviously a big one is creating recurring payments. So you don't have to repeat the job constantly. So if you've got monthly payments, bi-monthly, quarterly, whatever it may be, You can obviously just create those products as installments, and then that recurring revenue will come in. The member creates that first payment, and then they're rolled into it from there. So you guys don't have to constantly chase them. It's just a case of it's done for you from that point. And then again, lastly, the transparency in terms of seeing who hasn't paid and really sort of drilling down into that, so you can sort of make sure that no one's able to slip through the cracks, and you guys are getting all the sort of membership that you would expect to come in. So one of the benefits of obviously the online payments and match fee side of it, we found that 70% of match fees are generally paid when a prompt is sent out. So inside the first 48 hours of the fixture being played, the fees will be obviously paid. So it's a fairly big uptick. You may find most people will go away and say, "Oh, I'll pay you on training on Tuesday. I don't have cash on me." If you're going for cash, etc., and then you've got a nice easy way, again, reporting wise, you can see who's paid and not paid, and just make sure that you've got all those fees coming in, so you're not missing out on anything, because obviously there's umpires to pay, scorers to pay, tees to pay for, etc. Again, 5 reasons why you want to. It's, again, increasing the revenue. See who hasn't paid. Those are the big ones. It's quick and easy to request those payments and then re-request them as well, because obviously that's a big one. Sort of re-requesting the people that haven't paid. You can just hit a button and it will request everyone that has got that not paid assignment on them. They will then get another notification to chase them up. Obviously, again, track and record them. You can constantly make payments. So again, if someone says, "Oh, I'll pay you later, or I'll pay you at training," you can just say, send them a notification again, and then a message as well if needs be to say, "We really need you to pay this. Can you get this done ASAP?" And then, as you say, you don't need someone on hand with a card reader to be able to take the cash, whatever. They can literally just make that payment as and when they need to. And again, last one, reducing the volunteer admin. Like I say, there's no trips to the bank, there's no cash, there's no card reader, etc. It's nice and easy to just take those payments online. So obviously getting started with the payments on Pitch Hero is one of the big things. So this all links back to, again, payment providers. So you need to set up your payment provider. If you guys don't already have that in place, you can set up a new one, whether that be Stripe Connect Express or obviously GoCardless is either one. Again, Stripe Connect Express ties in directly with match fees, so it's probably the one that you would look to go for. That connects directly to your club's bank account. So essentially, people make the payment. It'll then go into the Stripe Connect Express account, and then that'll be paid out directly into the club's account. You've then obviously got the ability to reconcile the payments from there. Then once you've done the sort of initial setup, you go in and create your products. You get your membership side of things sorted. So that's the membership payments, the products, the membership forms, create those payment forms at the back of it. And then obviously, like I say, you can send out those prompts and then see the money come pouring in from there. And then obviously after 72 hours, whatever it may be, when people haven't made the payment, you can then re-request them and keep on top of them to make sure that they are paid up member before the start of the season. So you don't have any selection issues having to say to people, if you don't pay your fees, you're not going to be selected, and you don't have that horror show having to chase people up. It's nice and easy, nice and quick to keep on top of. So as we're obviously at this point, we'll go through a bit of a demo in terms of setting up payments, etc. We'll run through sort of ways that you guys could potentially look to increase revenue as well. Some sort of helpful tidbits that you may not have thought of. Some of you may already be using all this. And generally speaking, if there's any questions along the way, just pop them in the Q&A section, and obviously we can answer them as we're going through. So as we've gone into this page, it is worth me mentioning, obviously, if you've got sort of any queries on the Stripe Connect Express side of things, feel free to contact myself or the support team. More than happy to answer any questions you've got. You do also have a helpful article within your dashboard. So if you guys were to go to the payment tools area here, and then you went down to Stripe Connect Express, you'd be met with this page, and that will then give you a breakdown of all the different fees, etc., the benefits to it versus the current Stripe account. So it's worth having a look into if it's something that you're interested in as a club. And obviously, the big thing being this one, the transaction fees, you can see the direct savings that you guys would be making. Lovely stuff. So obviously, with the initial setup of your payment provider accounts, again, it's nice and easy. You go into payment tools and then payment providers, and then it will take you through the process of setting them up. So if you do need to set that up for the new season, or you want to set up the Stripe Connect Express account, that's where you go and do it. Again, really simple process to get it done. You just need to make sure you have the club's details ready on hand for when you're setting that up. Once you've done that, you've then got full customization to create all the different products and match fees, etc., that you need. Most of you guys on this will probably have already set them up. So what we'll do is we'll quickly go through the match fee side of it, make sure that you guys know where you're going to set up and amend any fees for this year. And then obviously we'll move on to more sort of the membership side of it. So for the match fees, obviously it's under that the match fees tab. What you would do is go into products. Then you'll have a list of all the different products that you guys will have set up potentially last year, year before, whatever it may be. So if I go into like senior match fees here, I can then go and see all the outstanding assignments on it, request those, make sure it's a clean slate for the new year. You've got the transactions, etc. If you want to run that report, you can do. And then the info here. So what you can do is go into the info. You can then go into the fees here and say the starter fee has actually changed to be £9 this year. So we put it up £1, hit update, and then that'll update that. And then obviously for the upcoming season, it will obviously update for the new assignments. Any outstanding assignments that were on the old fee, they'll stay the same. So there's no sort of worry on that. It's just a nice, easy way to obviously update things. As I know, clubs sort of seem to chop and change between whether they offer slightly higher match fees and a lower membership fee, or a higher membership fee and a lower match fee. So if you do have any of those changes happening, you can just make the amendments to it nice and simply in here. So moving over, obviously shop and payments is going to be the main area that you guys will be looking into for a lot of what you're going to be sort of pushing out and trying to get some revenue into the club for. So obviously on this homepage, you've got everything that you would need. So all the different dashboards, the revenue chart, outstanding assignments. Hopefully you guys won't be in a situation that is 590 not paid and only 6 have paid. You've obviously got your transaction report in here. You've got products, transactions, payment providers, etc., that you can run through as well. Then on the left hand side, you've got everything as well that you may need. So I'll go into products here. This will then give us a breakdown of all the products that you previously have. So for a new season, you may be looking to keep the exact same format, just refresh it. So by example, we've got an early bird one here for the 2023 season. So you've got the option to clone products, or of course, in the top here, you can add new products. So if you're looking to clone it, all you do is hit the clone product button here. That will then take you through to this page. So you can change the name of it. So obviously this one was 23, so we'll change it to 24. And then the payment provider, if you wanted to change that over, you can do. Again, you can run through everything, make sure it's up to your liking. If you're wanting to keep the exact same structure, it's nice and handy to have. So you can obviously do that, and then you just create product. That one's cloned and recreated nice and simply. Dead easy to do, dead easy to move things over for a new season. Obviously, you go back into the products here, and then you can archive the one from the season before. So all you do is click on this one, and then you'd archive that product if needs be. So if you're actually looking to set up a product from fresh, obviously it's a similar process. You're going to add new product. You can then choose what subcategory it goes into. So obviously with membership, that is obviously, as it says on the tin, it's the membership. So you'll be creating your players membership, social membership, president's membership, whatever that may be for this season. You'd add that in there, and then you'd take you through the process of setting all that up. And then other things to look into, again, if you're looking to increase the revenue into the club, obviously selling any tickets that you may have on there. Again, whether it's a club barbecue, you create an event for it, you get obviously you can see the attendance. You can then create an event for that within here on the tickets and actually sell tickets for it. So whether it just be £10 a head, brings in a little bit more revenue to the club rather than potentially collecting money on the door and people just sort of slipping in. Obviously, if you're doing any tours, etc., you can collect all that through this as well. The product forms will also allow you to capture all that information that you may need, whether it be date of birth, any medical conditions that you may need to know about, allergies, etc., for a tour, shirt size. You can create that and really create a bespoke payment form that attaches to that product. Again, really handy for tickets and tours, whether it be for a dinner or exactly that, a tour. With those two, it is worth noting they both have a capacity limit on them. So you have the flexibility to offer, say let's use a dinner at the club. So you can host 200 in the clubhouse. You've got the option to obviously set a 200 limit on that, or you can do it by variant. So you could say we want to have 150 members and then 50 non-members. So you can create those two variants as products, within the product. And then basically as and when they sell out, you can then obviously see that you've got a counter on it. And should you need to amend it along the way, you can obviously do so as well. Handy little feature to have. Something that a lot of clubs have started to do is selling sponsorship through Pitchera, because obviously you guys can add your sponsors onto the website. So we found that a lot of clubs have started to tier sponsorship, whether that be like a player sponsorship, and then you can add that sponsor to that player, a team sponsor, again, same, add the sponsor to the team. Then you've got obviously site-wide sponsors, and then you've also got the header sponsors that obviously sit on the header of every single page. It's a nice, easy way to sort of get someone standing out if you really want to get some further revenue and traction to that sponsor. The last one that you can actually look to use is obviously on the communications element down on this left-hand navigation. If you're composing a message, you can actually attach a sponsor logo to it. So if you were sending out club comms, etc., and send it from there, you can attach a sponsor to that. So it's a nice way to actually, everything that you guys are sending out, include a sponsor on it. And again, if you wanted to sell that, you can increase revenue by having different tiered sponsorships, etc., on there. As I say, some of you guys may already be doing that. It's something a lot of clubs have seemed to do, and it seems to be bringing in decent revenue. One of the clubs I spoke to last week was mentioning that last year they did it. They brought in an extra £3,000 to the club. Now, as I say, £3,000's not an astronomical amount, but it's money to the club that they wouldn't have had initially. So it's always worth looking into those new ways to explore and increase the revenue. We've just got a question in here, so I will briefly pause, read that, and then get an answer out. But sponsor would need to be a site member. Not 100% sure I follow on that one. If it's referring to paying for a sponsor, obviously you don't have to be a member directly to make a purchase. You just have to obviously fill out the information in terms of email. So there's a contact for you guys should you need to refund a payment, etc. They can skip sort of the joining process. There's no sort of need for that. Hopefully that's answered that question for you. If not, then obviously just let me know. Some further context, happy to answer any further. Stuff that's not come back, so I assume that one's covered off. So obviously, yeah, the big one for you guys is going to be membership. So we'll run through that and the setup. So obviously, if you go into membership, you've then got the step-by-step video. If you want to watch that, you can do. Then if you hit next, you get met with these two questions. So does your product have different pricing structures? So senior, junior, student rates, things of that nature. Most of you will be pressing yes for that. And then again, is there more than one way for your member to pay for your product? So again, if you want to just offer it as a one-off annual fee, you can do so, press no. Or if you want to offer that one lump sum and then installment product payments, you can do so. A lot of clubs obviously are going down the installment route at the minute, just making everything a little bit more accessible and more affordable. So it's a nice handy feature to have, a nice thing to offer for your members as well. So obviously going through the tests, setup, we'll call this membership 24, and then the first product's going to be called annual senior. So this one's going to be for an individual. It's going to be a one-off payment. How much is it going to be? We'll say £180 for the senior membership, and then this one will go monthly senior. And then again, it's for an individual. So if you want to create family products, so sibling discounts, etc., that's where you'll utilize that group and family one. And so it allows you to basically create a product that is for 2, 3, 4, 5 members, however many it may be. And then obviously you can adjust the price according to that. And then when the member goes through and makes the payment, they will then tag which kids most likely are related to that product. So if it's for a sibling discount, you'd obviously offer it for 2 people. The parent will make the payment and then they select it's for both of their kids. Then they'd pay the slightly reduced rate for the second child. So obviously with this one that we're going through here, it's a monthly option. So we'll choose installments. Then you've got weekly, monthly, or you can customize it to be bi-monthly, quarterly, however long you may want to sort of have the cadence of the payments taken. You can do so. For this one, we'll press monthly. Again, we'll say it's £180. You can choose to include an initial payment if you want to. So in essence, what that does is you can say it's £50 up front and then it's X amount per month moving forwards. So if I do that and put 50 in, then we can say it's going to be paid over 5 months at £26. We'll hit next, and then you can choose whether you want the payment to be taken on a specified date or on the date that the product was purchased. In essence, what this first payment is the first installment. So The initial payment will be taken on the date that it's paid for, no matter what. And then this first installment is obviously that first like £26 in the example we've just given. So if you want to take the £50 and 26 on the date that it's purchased, obviously you can do. But if you want to extend that, obviously, then you go into choose a specific date, and we'll say it's going to be taken on the 1st of May. So anyone that signs up between now and the end of April, they'll pay £50, and then the 1st of May comes round, that £26 will then be taken, and the instalments will be rolled from on or around the 1st of the month moving forwards. Obviously, if you've got further than just seniors, if you've got junior rates, social members, etc., then obviously you just go through, add the options in, and create those as you're running through. You go through next. You choose your payment provider. So again, you choose obviously your Stripe Connect Express account in here if you're wanting those lower fees. You can add a description in. So I know that's obviously club specific, but if you guys are potentially offering further payment plans that you don't want to necessarily advertise to everybody, there's a lot of clubs at the minute obviously saying please contact whoever the membership secretary may be, and then they will obviously be able to create further payment plans for you guys if needs be. So handy little thing to add in descriptions if need be. Again, add an image to it, make it look nice. Generally, club badge is a good one to have on there. Just keeps everything looking nice and tidy on the front end of things. And then we've got the how available the product is in essence. So unavailable to purchase, that just means that only the admins can see it at that point. Make sure it's all up to scratch. Everyone's happy with how it looks on the back end of things before you push it out. Obviously, all members can purchase. That means it's on the front end of the website on the shop. So anyone can go in and purchase that. And then you've got the middle ground, only assigned members can purchase. So obviously that means you have to be assigned the product to be able to see it and purchase it. That's handy, obviously, for assigning members those products. And also, if you have those bespoke payment plans that you don't want to offer to everyone, you can obviously put those to assigned members can purchase. Should someone get in contact with you, you can add them to that group. And then obviously they can go through and make a payment for one of those products if you have those sort of lurking in the background. Last thing to mention on here, obviously, you get a bit of an overview. If you want to go in and amend anything, obviously, you can do so in here. And there's a Club Shop daily report. So any of your webmasters with access to shopping payments, you guys can tick this and they will get a breakdown of what has been purchased on that day for the products that have been ticked. So obviously in this one, it would be the Membership 24 product. They'll get a breakdown of who's purchased what within this product, and you can toggle that on and off as and when you need to. Really handy feature for potentially the first sort of like month or so of your membership going live, just to make sure that everyone is going through, seeing that revenue coming through is a nice handy way to do it. Obviously, without having to sort of dive into the dashboard every time, you just get a breakdown at the end of a day and you can see what's been purchased and you're obviously confident that everything's working as expected. So last thing on here is obviously you hit create my product and then you go through the process and you can obviously assign members, create your payment forms to your heart's content. Now, a handy little feature that a lot of clubs, again, seem to be doing on the payment form is if you're looking to refresh certain fields, membership fields, say you've created a new field for this year being terms and conditions, club policies 2024, and you want to include that and make sure that everyone has agreed to it, you can obviously add a membership field, go down, select that relevant field. We'll choose the playing position one for this one. Make sure it's required and then save it. And then as people are purchasing their membership, they will then obviously have to interact with that, make sure that they've ticked, yes, I agree to the terms and conditions, etc. for the club. And it just means that your membership data is actually up to date for the upcoming season. Again, handy thing to have on there is just general information as well. If you wanted to include, I don't know, potentially address, make sure everyone's seen that and just double check everything is up to date. Medical conditions also a handy one to have on there. Like I say, obviously with the assignments, that's a key one in terms of actually the transparency and you guys really drilling down into who has and hasn't paid. So obviously on the assigned members here, you can really go through it, filter it by roles, teams, etc. Create the assignments en masse, create those 100 assignments if you want to. That will then send out to those members a push notification followed by an email to say you owe for membership 2024. Please go through and make your payment here. Obviously, if you come to down the line, you've got some new members joining and you've assigned, let's say, all the players on the sort of list at the start of the season to this product, you can go through, again, filter by roles, etc., and then tick this box here. So you can filter to any unassigned members. So anyone that's not assigned to that product with the various filters that you've got on there, obviously you can tick add them up all up in there, and they will then be added to that product. Nice handy feature to have, save you guys sort of scrapping around trying to figure out who has and hasn't been assigned, and then going through and creating a bespoke sort of like group for it. You've got a nice button there that does it all for you. So again, got another question in here, so we'll take a second and answer that. But if there's any other questions, feel free to fire away, guys. So we've got two questions in here. One from Matthew related to the initial payments and first payments. So when is the first payment? If the member joins after the date you put in the first payment, does it get added to the initial payment? So yeah, and using the example I just obviously set up, obviously it was the first payment, so the first installment would be on the 1st of May. If the member signed up, let's say on the 2nd of May, they would be charged the initial payment and that first monthly installment. And then obviously, again, moving forward, they would be rolled into that monthly payment of £26 going on from there. So yeah, if they sign up after the date, they would have the initial payment and the first monthly installment lumped into one. Next question is, how's best to tell if someone is a paid up member? So again, all revolves around sort of the assigning of products. If you assign people to those products, so like I say, if you've got everyone assigned in the products here, you can then obviously just run a report to see filters by status and then see who's paid and not paid. That's a nice, easy way to do it. Or alternatively, in the membership database here, you can then go through and there's a traffic light system. So again, if you've assigned members to a product, you'll then be able to see a red and green traffic light on them for their membership 2024. So if I just scroll down on the right hand side here and select when I find it, typically it's in a lot of others. There we go, membership 2024. You'll then be able to see a whole host of red dots in there. So those will turn green when people have paid. And obviously, again, with the membership database, you can run a sort of filter on the roles so you can see specific players for specific teams and then really drill down into it. So that's obviously a nice, easy way to actually figure out who is paid up and who isn't as sort of for the upcoming season. So Stuart has asked, can you delete all match fee products? So there isn't really a need to delete them, Stuart, because you can obviously go in and amend the pricing, etc., for them. So there shouldn't be a need to delete the products. Stuart. I can go over it if you would like me to. Just let us know, and obviously I can re-go over that if you need me to, Stuart. Can two or more parents slash guardians get the payment notification and then one of them pay? Yeah. So obviously, if the kids got two parents linked to them, then yeah, they both will get the notification on behalf, and then obviously one of them can go in and make the payment for that. So there's no issues with that. Lastly, we also have players. If I check from social services, yeah. So again, Matthew, on the manual payments. So if I just go into we'll just go into the assignments here. So obviously you can go to the product specifically, then the assignments. You have the option to mark manual payments and add notes to it. So if we just use this one here for Mark, click the options there, you can add a manual payment and say for that variant, they paid £180 via check, and the note is whatever you may need to add in a note there. And then you just hit add. That will then mark the payment as paid. And then again on the reporting, it will show. So obviously, with if it's paid via just online, it show as like a credit card, obviously debit card, etc., as the payment method. Whereas this will show paid check with the note that you'd added on there as well. So it's all included in the reporting for you to reconcile nice and easily. Stuff. So that is predominantly obviously everything covered. So I'll wait just a couple more minutes, see if there's any further questions. But just a bit of a recap as we're seeing if any more come in. You guys are standing to save obviously quite a lot of money with the reduced transaction fees if you're looking to jump into Stripe Connect Express. As I say, if you want more information, you can contact us directly, the support team at support@pitchera.com, or myself, which is obviously w.dunkley@pitchera.com. We can have a conversation about it, sort of work through pros and cons for you guys. And then obviously you've got the information in here as well under Stripe Connect Express on the payment tools. So really worth you guys having a look into that, as you're going to be standing to save sort of quite a lot of money on that if you're sort of like taking your membership. So you may think, oh, it's only a percent or so, but if you guys are taking 40 grand, obviously that does really quickly add up and it's more money in your pockets. So that's better off for clubs. So you'd be daft almost not to jump on it. And then obviously the other side of it is those recurring payments. You guys will be getting charged by Stripe if you have installment subscription products set up at the minute. If you go with Stripe Connect Express, that fee is also gone. So there's no fee on Stripe Connect Express for that. So a really handy feature to have. Again, as I've said before, any questions on it, either put them in the Q&A now or just get in touch with us and we can sort of have a call and run through it for you guys on a club specific basis. Got a few more questions that have come in here, so we'll get onto those. And then we'll look to obviously finish up and hopefully give you guys a little bit of time back on your lunch hours. You've asked, can someone be assigned two products for them to pick which one? So you've got the option. You can assign people to two products, and then whichever one they purchase, you can obviously then remove the assignment for the other one. Or the better alternative for that would be to create a variant within products. So have a product as a whole, whether it be junior membership, senior membership, whatever that may be, and then have different sub variants within that. Then you can just assign them one product. They'll see the different variants and then choose that variant from within sort of the categories you've already created. So hopefully that one answers that for you. John, sorry, I did write a message to your question. I think it's probably worth us having a quick call about it. So if you want to just drop me an email, it's w.dunkley, again, that's DUNKERLEY @pitchera.com. We'll get something penciled in and run through a few things with you on that. Stuart, yeah, sorry, of course I can run you through that. So within match fees, you literally just go into the products area, Stuart, and then it's nice and simply, obviously you'll have your list within here. So you'll have the info, and then on the right hand side of each fee, you will then see three little dots. They are quite light, so you may have missed them. Then you hit edit, and all you would then do, obviously I changed it before from £8 to £9. We're going to have another increase within 24 hours and go up to £10 and then hit update. That's job's good, job's done. Nice and easy to sort of go through that. Obviously, you can update as many as you need to if you've had a refresh for the start of the season. Harry's asked, what is the preferred method to archive or park a member who has missed the renewal payment date. So is this a case that you guys have a cut-off, Harry, say 1st of May, and then from that they then get put into sort of a group that are unselectable for games, etc., until they've paid? If you could just give us a bit more information on that, or alternatively, again, drop us an email and we can have a conversation offline about it. So yeah, Matthew, basically when you're creating a product, you've got the option, as we ran through, to create different variants. So you can obviously offer people, so like by example, let's say junior fees. I'll give you a working example as we're running through it. Go into the products. Let me just find the one we set up before. There we go, membership 2024. So if we look at this product that I've set up, obviously you just send out one notification to members, but you've got two different options for them to choose from. So we've got an annual sort of one-off payment that they can make a payment for. If they want to, they can choose to pay installments. You can create whatever installment variants that you want, then they will just see that they've been assigned the membership 24 product. However, when they click into that, they will then see the different options that they can then go in and choose what's best for them to pay. So obviously, from what you've mentioned, very similar to what you're currently doing. Okay, so Harry, so it's like an early bird offer from the sounds of it. You've either got sort of two options. It's whether you create a new product and send that out to them if they've missed all sort of early bird discounts. Alternatively, you can create membership groups and then obviously categorize people as missed offers, whatever it may be, late payment, etc. And then you've got a nice, easy way to distinguish who is and isn't in that category. So hopefully that one answers that for you, Harry. Lovely stuff. Doesn't appear to be any further questions coming in. Obviously, if there is any questions you guys have got, again, myself or the support team, contactable. More than happy to help as and where we can with absolutely anything. So feel free to get in touch with us. Obviously, big one at the minute is that Stripe Connect Express. I'm sure a lot of you will have questions about that. So feel free to just reach out to us and we'll sort of jump on a call and really run through it with you on a club specific basis and sort of work out why it is best for you guys to look into switching to that. So again, thanks again for your time, guys, today. Hopefully, we'll give you 5 or so minutes back of your lunch hour and have a lovely rest of your day. Obviously, this recording will be sent round after the fact. And thanks again for attending, guys. Cheers.